Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel, where we learn English through stories. Today, I have a very special story for you. It is about one of the most famous and beloved singers in the world. Her name is Taylor Swift. This is not just a story about music. It's a story of dreams, hard work, love, heartbreak, and finding your voice. So sit back, relax, and let's begin the emotional journey of Taylor Swift. Part 1. The Beginning. Taylor Swift's Early Life. Chapter 1. A Little Girl with Big Dreams. Taylor Allison Swift was born on December 13, 1989, in a small town called Reading in the state of Pennsylvania, USA. From the outside, her life looked very normal. She lived on a Christmas tree farm with her parents, Scott and Andrea Swift, and her younger brother, Austin. The family was close, loving, and supportive. Even as a little girl, Taylor was different. She loved to read, write, and tell stories. But what she loved most was music. When she was just a toddler, she would dance around the living room, singing along to the songs on the radio. Her parents noticed something special. There was something in her eyes: passion, focus, and a dream. When Taylor was 9 years old, she started taking vocal lessons in New York City. It was a long trip from her home, but she didn't mind. Every week she practiced and learned more. She also began acting in local theater plays. People started to notice that this little girl had talent. Not just talent, but something magical. Chapter 2. Falling in Love with Country Music. One day, Taylor heard a song by Shania Twain, a famous country music star. That moment changed everything. Taylor felt something deep in her heart. It was like the music spoke directly to her. She fell in love with country music. Not long after, she discovered other country legends like Faith Hill and the Dixie Chicks. She listened to their songs over and over again, dreaming of becoming like them one day. At the age of 10, Taylor began writing her own songs. Yes, her own songs. Not many children do that. But Taylor had something inside her that needed to come out. A voice, a feeling, a story. Her first song was about a computer repairman who came to fix her computer. It may sound funny, but that was the beginning. She picked up a guitar and learned to play it when she was 12. That guitar would soon become her best friend. Chapter 3. A Brave Move to Nashville. Taylor knew that if she wanted to become a country star, she had to go to Nashville, Tennessee, the home of country music. So she begged her parents to take her there. At first, they thought she was too young, but they believed in her. When Taylor was just 11 years old, she and her mom went to Nashville. She carried a CD with her songs and walked into music companies on Music Row, knocking on doors and giving them her demo. Most of them didn't even listen. Some smiled politely. Others said she was too young. Taylor was disappointed, but she didn't give up. At 13, her family made a big decision. They moved to Tennessee to support Taylor's dream. That was not easy. It meant changing schools, leaving friends, and starting over. But they did it because they believed in her. And Taylor? She worked harder than ever. Chapter 4. The Big Break. Taylor continued to write songs. She wrote every day after school. Her notebooks were filled with lyrics, thoughts, emotions, and stories from her own life. One day, a man named Scott Borchetta heard her sing at a performance. He was about to start a new music label called Big Machine Records. He saw something in Taylor that others had missed. He signed her as the first artist on his new label. In 2006, when Taylor was just 16 years old, she released her first song, Tim McGraw. It was a country love song, full of emotion and memories. Slowly, the song began to climb the charts. People started asking, "Who is this young girl with the curly hair and the guitar?" Then came her debut album, Taylor Swift. It was a hit. Songs like Teardrops on My Guitar, Our Song, and Picture to Burn made her a star. She wasn't just singing. She was telling stories. Real, honest, emotional stories that teenagers and young people could relate to. Chapter 5. The Rise to Fame. Taylor's career took off like a rocket. She became the voice of a generation. She wasn't afraid to be vulnerable. She wrote songs about heartbreak, love, growing up, and finding yourself. Her second album, Fearless, was even bigger. It had songs like Love Story and You Belong With Me. These songs weren't just popular, they became anthems. Fearless won 4 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year. Taylor became the youngest artist in history to win that award. She stood on that Grammy stage, holding her trophy with tears in her eyes, and said, "This is the story we're going to tell our grandchildren." It was a dream come true. But fame comes with its own price. Part 2, Love, Loss, and Becoming Stronger. Chapter 6, A Very Public Life. As Taylor's fame grew, so did the attention on her personal life. Paparazzi followed her everywhere. People wanted to know who she was dating, what she was wearing, what she was feeling. Every move she made was watched, every word she said was analyzed. She had relationships that made headlines. Some ended in heartbreak. But Taylor turned those experiences into music. Songs like Back to December, Dear John, and All Too Well told stories of love and pain. They weren't just songs, they were her way of healing. Her fans felt every word. Chapter 7, The Kanye West Incident. In 2009, at the MTV Video Music Awards, Taylor won Best Female Video for You Belong With Me. As she was giving her speech, rapper Kanye West came onto the stage, took the microphone and said that Beyoncé had one of the best videos of all time. Taylor stood there, shocked and hurt. The moment became a huge controversy. People took sides. Taylor stayed calm and graceful. She didn't fight back with anger. She went back to what she always did best. She wrote a song. Innocent was her gentle response. Chapter 8, Changing Sounds. Taylor started to grow, not just as a person, but as an artist. Her third album, Speak Now, was entirely self-written. It was personal, powerful, and poetic. Songs like Mine, Mean, and Enchanted showed her growth. But it was her fourth album, Red, that marked a real shift. It was still country, but it also had pop influences. I Knew You Were Trouble and We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together were bold and different. Critics praised the album. Fans loved it. Taylor was evolving. Yet, even as her music changed, some people criticized her. They said she dated too much. They said she only wrote about her exes. Taylor felt misunderstood. She wanted to show the world that she was more than gossip. So, she took a bold step. Chapter 9, 1989 and Reinvention. In 2014, Taylor released 1989, her first full pop album. It was named after her birth year. This was a new Taylor, more confident, more daring, more in control. The songs were different. Shake It Off, Blank Space, and Style were playful, smart, and catchy. The world loved it. The album sold millions. Taylor went on a world tour. She won Album of the Year again at the Grammys, making history. But even in her success, challenges came. Chapter 10, Reputation and Resilience. In the years that followed, Taylor faced feuds, false headlines, and public attacks. Her feud with Kanye West and Kim Kardashian returned, this time on social media. She was called a liar, a snake, and worse. Taylor disappeared from the public eye for a while. She was silent. But silence doesn't mean weakness. In 2017, she came back with Reputation, an album full of strength and fire. Songs like Look What You Made Me Do and Delicate told a new story. Taylor was no longer just the sweet country girl. She was a warrior. Chapter 11, Lover and Finding Peace. With time, Taylor found light again. Her album Lover, released in 2019, was full of color, warmth, and joy. The title track, Lover, was romantic and soft. You Need to Calm Down stood up for equality. Taylor was using her voice for bigger causes. She also spoke out politically for the first time. She stood up for LGBTQ+ rights and encouraged young people to vote. She was growing not just as a musician, but as a leader. Chapter 12. Folklore, Evermore, and a New Chapter. In 2020, the world was quiet. The pandemic changed everything. But Taylor didn't stop creating. She surprised everyone by releasing Folklore, a dreamy, emotional album full of storytelling. Then came Evermore, its sister album. These albums were different. They were not about fame or heartbreak. They were about characters, feelings, and imagination. They showed a quieter, deeper side of Taylor. Critics called them masterpieces. Chapter 13, Taking Back Her Voice. At the same time, Taylor began re-recording her old albums. Why? Because she had lost the rights to her master recordings. She didn't own the music she had written, so she took action. She re-recorded Fearless and Red, calling them Taylor's version. Fans supported her with all their hearts. Taylor was not just an artist, she was a fighter. She was taking back her voice, her work, her story. Chapter 14. Today and always today, Taylor Swift is more than a pop star. She is a symbol of resilience, honesty, creativity, and power. She has written hundreds of songs, won countless awards, and touched millions of lives. But more than that, she has stayed true to herself. From a little girl on a Christmas tree farm to a global icon, Taylor's journey is a lesson for all of us. No matter what people say, no matter how hard the road gets, you can rise, you can speak, you can shine. Thank you for listening to the story of Taylor Swift. I hope her journey inspired you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, keep learning, keep dreaming, and never stop believing in your voice. See you in the next story.